Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the new Warhammer Plus models. That's right, the first look at the two new models for Warhammer Plus Season 3. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so here we have Warhammer Plus entering its Season 3 here in August. And along the way, we saw a few unique models. Very cool for Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar as well. 4 in total. Alright, so here we can see Year 1 of Warhammer Plus was the Vindicare Assassin, Operative Umbral 6, or your choice of the Orukk Megaboss, Bazdrogg Nekk-Choppa. Both those were relatively large models, as the Orc Warboss is a pretty chunky dude, and then obviously the Vindicare Assassin came on top of like a little Sisters of Battle like terrain piece and everything. Two very cool models. Definitely a huge fan of both of them. As we moved into Warhammer Plus Year 2, we saw the World Eater's Terminator, Azrakh the Annihilator. A very cool usage of a piece of old school art, and just absolutely brought this model to life with a beautiful new sculpt. A World Eater's Terminator character. Very cool. And then the second Warhammer Plus Year 2 model was Mibyllor Darkfang, Chaos Sorcerer Lord. And she is pretty cool. Also has like 4 of her little apprentices with her as well. And many of these little acolyte guys had some design throwbacks to some OG models from like the very early days of Warhammer. So we saw for each of the first 2 seasons, one 40k and also one Age of Sigmar model, and you got your choice of each, and then you could purchase the second one as well. So now that we're approaching Season 3, I know people are curious as to what's to come, and we have our first official look from Games Workshop. So if we do just kind of jump back over here to the article and take a look, I'm not going to go into all the actual details of Warhammer Plus. You can take a look at what shows are coming and what new stuff they're planning on doing. I just want to take a look at the actual models here. And in the little preview, we can see the outlines here, but let's watch their actual little video. All right, so we see basically some little excerpts, Drukhari and then Niev, Black Talon, and a couple other cool things. Some talk about the painting, the gaming, all that cool stuff. But again, we're here for one thing and one thing only, to see the new models. And here they are. So this is our first look at the new models, and we'll just go back through here a little slow motion, take a look. All right, so here we have our first real look at the new models. And I think for most people at a glance, it's at least fairly obvious the factions of the models, and then we can kind of like break it down from there. So depending where you want to start at, I think it's pretty easy to kind of identify what's going on here. So we have clearly some sort of a vampire. This looks like the vampire helms of like the Blood Knights and stuff. So this is probably like some wing kind of like helmet plume piece. We see also like a goblet, which implies that it would be full of blood. And once again, the vampiresque kind of look, the shoulder pads, the big like cloak, and then of course this super fancy sword. And of course, that would be our Sigmar model. And you would presume it would be either some sort of new vampire lord on foot, or perhaps like a named vampire. And we know based on the other models that obviously it's going to be very cool. But I think it's pretty safe to assume that this will in fact be a Soulblight Gravelords vampire lord. And I know I'm excited. Absolutely cannot wait to see them. All of the vampire sculpts that they have done have been absolutely phenomenal. Everything from the Underworld's warband to like the Cato Ezekiar, kind of like star from the novels. They've just absolutely killed it with all of the vampire sculpts, and I suspect this one is going to be awesome as well. So now if we move on to the other model here, again, we know that's going to be our 40k model, and obviously we can see what looks like a hotshot lasgun or something along those lines. We also see a sword right here, and we can see like a little piece of a backpack coming up. So I'm not 100% sure what this model is going to be, if it's going to be once again like a special character or just kind of a generic character. But I think the easiest thing to do is obviously we can identify it as Astra Militarum. So we've got an Imperial Guard character, and then I think if we kind of narrow it down from there, it sort of basically falls into the department of 2 different types of guys. So if we just flip over to Games Workshop's web store, we can see the overall look of the Kasrkins. And so this model here looks fairly similar. We see the hotshot lasgun. We see the kind of like double line go into the power pack. And then we see that little like kind of connector piece right there. We see the open face helmet. And then we also see the little like rod kind of sticking up off that. And if we just flip back here really quick, it basically looks like this model right here, and then it's maybe just been reversed like 180 degrees, so the rod is on the different side. But I think pretty clearly we can say that it's probably a Kasrkin character. Could be a squad leader, could be like a officer or something like that as well. The other option, if we just pull up the old Militarum Tempestus Scions, looks pretty similar to the Scions as well. They sort of like introduced this hotshot las gun with the newer model range when this kit came out. And then of course the Kasrkins came back and just did everything better. We can see a little bit different of the silhouette of the actual gun. And then of course we see like a little different on the backpack for like the little piece that sticks up. So again, if we just kind of jump back over here, I think it's pretty obvious that there's definitely some similarities with both, but this is going to be some form of like a Kasrkin character. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. So obviously armed with your normal hotshot las gun and then also the power weapon as well, power sword. Definitely some potential equipment options. Now in general, if this is like a squad leader, typically the squad leader is going to have a pistol and then also like the sword, not like the full-on long-range gun weapon. But I wouldn't say that this completely rules it out. I think there's also some potential that rather than like an actual squad leader character, that we could see like an official officer or something like that. Now typically, even with these models here, you would expect them to kind of fall within the rules so that you could play them in-game if you wanted. I don't think it's crazy to think that you could replace like the sergeant of your squad with this model here, or use the Sigmar model as just a generic vampire. In the past, even though we've gotten named characters, we haven't gotten like actual like data sheets, profiles, rules, or anything like that specifically for the Warhammer Plus models. So if we assume they're just going to do what they did for the last 2 seasons, for the last 4 models, even if they do give us a named character, it's likely just a stand-in proxy for just a regular model that you would normally be able to include with no additional points changes or rules changes. So I know as we're kind of coming up on the anniversary date for Warhammer Plus, going into the 3rd year, a lot of people are asking if I had any insights or anything about what was coming. And then actually Games Workshop kind of dropped this little preview with a little teaser of the models to come. And naturally I got excited. I am definitely looking forward to both these models. Cannot wait to see the full reveal, and 100% will be picking them up one way or the other, with or without Warhammer Plus. And I did a full breakdown on Warhammer Plus and how it's essentially free, because what you end up paying is about like 50 or 60 bucks depending on where you're at, and you end up getting one model for free and then the potential to buy the other model for around $40. And in all reality, if you just sell the model that you got for free, or you pay the extra, buy both of them and then sell them off, you can easily pay for your Warhammer Plus subscription. So you get all the actual service and everything for free, but it does cost you the models. Or alternatively, of course, you can just pay the subscription, get the cool model, and then also have access to the service and potentially even buy the second model as well. It's really up to you and what kind of value you see from it. I think a lot of people have spoke highly of the shows and everything. From what I've seen, it's pretty cool. But to tell you the truth, I was most excited about the models. I was thinking about buying Warhammer Plus for the 2nd season. And then actually I made that video, ended up getting in touch with one of the watchers, one of the community, and actually did a little trade. So I was able to get the Sorceress that I wanted. And for that, sir, I thank you. And it's just one awesome thing about our community. So let me know which of these 2 new characters you're most excited for. Let me know if you have some insights or anything, if you think I got this wrong, or if you have some specifics as to, potentially what officer this could be, or what unique vampire character or other character this could be. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Definitely enjoy the speculation type videos and everything like that. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out to save 15% on Warhammer products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I can't wait to see these 2 new models. And I'm out of here.